Welcome to this live. Let's talk health and more. How was your day? Today was a public holiday here in the Childland state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, um, commemorating National Heroes Day. In fact, the actual day was the 19th, just gone, but because it fell on a Sunday, the automatic thing is that the first working day or the day thereafter, which is the working day, whether it's the first or the second, is designated as a holiday. I must commend the administration, the government, for being proactive, for leading by example, yes, and showing us the way in terms of being patriotic. Yes, Grenadians turned out in their numbers yesterday and today to the various ceremonies commemorating National Heroes Day, whether it was at Fort George, which I attended yesterday, and on the airport, on the airstrip. How I missed that day this morning. I dearly missed that. I would have so loved to have been there. Yes, Grenadians came out and showed their patriotism. Hats off to us Grenadians. Yes, besides being a holiday here in Grenada, I think it's also, not I think, I know it is a holiday in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. It's Diwali. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, Diwali means Festival of Lights. It probably falls in line with the advent of Christmas. Yes? So happy Diwali to the populace of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if it is celebrated as a public holiday in Guyana, but I think it is observed. It may be the same thing too in India. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if there's anybody on the live that can attest to that. Let me just let you know that this live is being brought to you simultaneously on both my YouTube and TikTok platforms. Kindly share, like, follow, and ultimately subscribe. Let me know where you're joining the live from, please. As a first timer, I crave for the interaction. Yes, comments, suggestions, and ideas are indeed welcome. My name is Lescott, and I'm located in the beautiful Childland state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. In fact, my exact location is on the main island of Grenada. Yes? Again, let me welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's a bit late. I don't usually do it that late. It's a bit late for many of you. Tomorrow being for us here the first working day of the week. I know for a fact it's already tomorrow. It's already Wednesday in a lot of the other countries. Morning time, evening time, whatever you do. Welcome wherever you are. Thank you for joining. And FAHCJ, Mitch, good evening. Christy, Nikki, welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for joining. So the journey continues. My journey of motivating, inspiring, and encouraging you, encouraging myself and others to realize the goal of optimum health continues. Before you is a short, concise, scientifically backed data, figures, suggestions, and ideas put forward by this experienced, learned, knowledgeable Dr. David B. Agros. Yes? Title of the book, A Short Guide to a Long Life. Yes? Folks, I want to urge each and every one of you to kindly do a read up if you can, and or purchase the book. You can get it either the soft cover or hardcover. In lieu of that, you can fancy your chances at winning one of 5 of these books for 2 trivia questions. You don't necessarily have to answer 2, but if you answer 2, it's a bonus for you. Yes, at least one that deals with me, the things that I have been doing for the past months and so on this live, things that you would have seen and heard and can identify as being me. Yes? The winner will receive a copy wherever they are, free of charge. It will be of no cost to you, and that will be done on my birthday, the 31st of October, just a matter of a few days away. Yes? Again, thank you for each and every one. Kendra Nichols, welcome, thank you. Hey, Ronald Andre, thank you for joining. Nicole, thank you for joining. Welcome each and every one of you. So last time out, I got to chapter 21. And if I may, let me just do a little recap of 21 before I go on to 22. Remember the word statins? Inquire about statins if you're over the hill. Statins, Lipitor and Crestor are used primarily for controlling cholesterol. Yes? For controlling cholesterol. Yes? It also have added benefits and added uses as explained by in this book. So this evening we're going to go on to chapter 22. Chapter 22 says, look carefully, take a baby aspirin. Yes? Chapter 22 says, take a baby aspirin. It's one of the oldest remedies known to mankind. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, used aspirin's active ingredients, salicylic acid. I'm thinking sal probably has to do with salt. Salicylic acid, which he extracted from the bark and leaves of the willow tree to help alleviate pain and fevers. Let me just reread that. Baby aspirin, it is said, is one of the oldest remedies known to mankind. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, used aspirin's active ingredients, salicylic acid, which he extracted from the bark and leaves of the willow tree to help alleviate pain and fevers. The willow tree. Is there anyone on the line that is familiar with the willow tree? Hey, MMT, call me Coco, Candy Can, welcome, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. In 1897, the German chemist Felix Hoffmann developed the first commercially available aspirin for beer. That is one of the most prominent, well-known aspirins on the market. Not just today, but it has been on the market for quite a while. I believe too that it's German made. Beer, I think it's German made because I can identify with Bayern Munich, and that's a football club in Germany. So you have Bayern, yeah? And since then, this wonder drug has proved its value as an effective, trusty analgesic. Yeah? Today we know that aspirin has far-reaching effects on the body as a whole that go beyond easing our headaches and sore backs. Did you hear that? Today we know that aspirin has far-reaching effects on the body as a whole that go beyond easing our headaches and sore backs. Many high-quality research studies have confirmed that the use of aspirin not only substantially reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease, but it can even ward off a medley of ailments through its anti-inflammatory powers. Hey, brown guy, what's up? Welcome, welcome, PDR, CD Act. Welcome, welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining. I'd just like to reread that. Today we know that aspirin has far-reaching effects on the body as a whole that go beyond easing our headaches and sore backs. Many high-quality research studies have confirmed that the use of aspirin not only substantially reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease, but it can even ward off a medley of ailments through its anti-inflammatory powers. A daily low-dose aspirin, 75 milligrams, similar to the more commonly available dose in the United States of 81 milligrams, has even been shown to reduce the risk of developing common malignant cancers in the lungs, colon, and prostate by a staggering 46%. So aspirin has tremendous medicinal benefits. So if you're basking in the glory of middle age, this might be something you'll want to discuss with your doctor, as there are side effects to aspirin such as bleeding that are real. Be mindful of that. There are side effects such as bleeding when using aspirin. Just me, Allison. Welcome. Hey, Lee, good evening, good night. Welcome, welcome. It's the cheapest fountain of youth around and requires no prescription. Folks, did you hear that? Hey, Bree, good evening, good night. Welcome. Thank you for joining. It's the cheapest fountain of youth around and requires no prescription. Folks, did you know that? Is it the first time you're hearing about aspirin being the fountain of youth? That concludes chapter 22. So we're going on to chapter 23. Abide by screening and booster vaccination recommendations. Chapter 23. Abide by screening and booster vaccination recommendations. When our children are born, we take them to the pediatrician like clockwork for their regular checkups. And we and the government insist on vaccinating them for the measles, mumps, rubella, and polio, just to name a few. Why, one might ask? Because we know that these preventative strategies save lives. But as adults, we tend to get lazy and cavalier about keeping up with our own screenings and receiving booster shots. Are we not all guilty of that at one point? At one point or another? But this allows you to take advantage of the power of preventative medicine. If you consider the major cancer killers in men, the top 3, prostate, lung, and colon cancer. These are the top 3 cancer killers in men. That is what he says in this book. Prostate cancer, colon cancer, and lung cancer. Yeah. Together, they represent almost 60% of deaths. 60% of deaths from cancer. If you're a man, prostate-specific antigen, PSA, that's a type of test, can identify prostate cancer early through a simple blood sample. Let me repeat that. If you're a man, prostate-specific antigen, PSA test, can identify prostate cancer early through a simple blood sample. If the subsequent prostate biopsy reveals that you have a form of high-risk prostate cancer, then you may benefit from treatment, whether that means surgery or radiation therapy. In the case of lung cancer, giving up cigarettes and minimizing your exposure to secondhand smoke can certainly decrease your risk for this type of cancer. And chest CT screenings can further decrease your chance of death from this disease. Colon cancer can similarly be avoided through colonoscopies that identify and remove polyps prior to their becoming cancerous. On the other hand, if you're a woman, the top cancer killers are those of breast, lung, and colon. Again, you can help prevent and treat all of these current screening tools, which have a profound impact on your chances of ever dying from these diseases. Hey J-Man, hey Lisa, what's up my dear? Pierre 130, thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome. Whether you're a man or a woman, preventing or delaying heart disease and stroke is also relatively straightforward and doable. Young Junior, welcome. Thank you for joining. We now know how certain dietary rules and the use of statins and baby aspirins, where appropriate, can come into play. You can also undergo a stress test for your heart, among other readily available tests, if you're at high risk for heart disease. And don't forget about your booster shots and adult vaccine. Science has developed a panoply, P-A-N-O-P-L-Y, a panoply of new vaccines that weren't available to our parents. And they can help us to avoid things like whooping cough, shingles, certain kinds of pneumonia, and hepatitis B, to name a few. The book doesn't say that, but I'm just adding that. Of course, your age and risk factors will determine when and if you need them. But ask, and if you're a parent or a teenager, inquire about the vaccine against the human papillomavirus, HPV. Immunizing your adolescents against this ubiquitous virus will help dramatically reduce his or her lifetime risk of various cancers. I thought this HPV, human papilloma virus, was mainly for female. I really thought it was mainly for female. But it clearly says here both male and female. Chapter 24. Plan a 1, 5, 10, and 25-year health strategy. We all need goals. Hey, Cookie732, welcome. Thank you for joining. They help us to stay focused and give us something to look forward to. It's common to create goals for professional pursuits and personal dreams, such as buying a home and starting a family. But what about those other goals that have everything to do with our longevity? Let's face it, our ability to achieve any goal. Let me just take that over. But what about those other goals that have everything to do with our longevity? And let's face it, our ability to achieve any goal. Granted, lots of people resolve to lose weight every year, but that goal eludes most people. Oh yes, man, you hear a lot about that with the coming of the new year, when you're encouraged to make, I'm trying to remember the words, talk in terms of what you hope to achieve in the new year. You hear a lot of talk about that. Yep. It's hard to lose weight when the weight goal is specific, but the plan is not. So you need to have a plan. He's just making it abundantly clear that one needs to have a plan. Better to design a 1, 5, 10, and 25 health strategy. Where do you see yourself in 20 years from a health perspective? I don't think any of us know, but we probably can plan for that. What will you look like if you keep on the same path you're on now? None of us know, but we can put things in place to manage that. Instead of saying, I will lose weight, reframe that goal to include the measures you'll take to get there. Did you hear that? That is so poignant. What will you look like if you keep on the same path you're on now? What do you want to look like? It's hard to picture ourselves that far in the future, but it can help inform the choices we make today. So devise a plan and then work backward. Come up with little milestones you can achieve on that path. Don't make them big or lengthy. Yep. And even though you fall short, you can always adjust, redesign. Instead of saying, I will lose weight, reframe that goal to include the measures you will take to get there. For example, I will work out at least 5 days a week for 30 minutes at a time. I will remove 80% of processed foods from my diet. I will see my doctor once a year for a routine checkup. Those are but examples that Dr. David B. Agus is suggesting to you, to me, to us, that we can take incrementally. As you think where you want to be in a year, and then in 5, 10, and 20 years, consider more than just your physical looks, although that's often a telltale sign of overall health and wellness. Reflect on your entire family while you're at it. Will you be able to keep up with your kids and possibly grandkids 2 decades from now? What steps can you take to ensure that you are able to take care of your spouse who already has a chronic condition today? In 5 years, which risk factors will you need to pay extra attention to given your age then? And in 10 years, if you could look back today, what would you do What would you want to do differently? So these are some of the questions that he's putting forward to us. Questions that we can ask ourselves. By way of realizing optimum health and wellness and taking measures, taking steps to prevent the many diseases, illnesses, and sicknesses that we're seeing, or that we have been seeing, or that we have been experiencing. We're going on to chapter 25. Deal with sickness smartly. Yes? Deal with sickness smartly. We all do it. Cuddle up in bed with the shades drawn when we're nursing a bad cold or stomach virus. I am guilty of that, I must admit. I am guilty of that, and so I'm quite sure many of you on the live can attest to that, or is guilty of that at one time or another. But part of the art of dealing with sickness means sticking to our routines as much as possible. Let me repeat. But part of the art of dealing with sickness means sticking to our routines as much as possible. Lying in bed all day in the dark might not be what's best for us if we want a quick recovery. Our lymph system, after all, plays a big part in fighting infections. But it won't send out its germ-fighting troops unless the body is mobile. That is so poignant. Let me just reread that there, folks. Our lymph, the little nodules that we will feel between our legs, our armpits, and in our necks, plays a pivotal role in our health and well-being. So he says here, our lymph system, after all, plays a big part in fighting infections. But it won't send out its germ-fighting troops unless the body is mobile. So one needs to be mobile. Hey, Saucy, am I in time for the soup? Am I in time for the soup? Thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. Welcome, my dear. Welcome. So walk around when you're under the weather. Keep our body's internal clock on time by exposing it to the daylight. Avoid creating a nighttime setting when the sun is out, or you'll throw your body's circadian rhythm out of whack and give it another challenge to overcome in addition to illness. I want to reread that there so that we understand that when we're feeling sick, though you may not want to move about, Dr. David B. Eger stresses the importance of us getting up and being mobile to assist the body, the limbs, to fight the sicknesses, to fight the disease, fight the infections. Yes? You ever hear they tell you about getting out in the sunlight as much as possible because it has health benefits? I just wanted to reread that chapter again. We all do it. Cuddle up in bed with the shades drawn when we're nursing a bad cold or stomach virus. But part of the art of dealing with sickness means sticking to our routines as much as possible. Lying in bed all day in the dark might not be what's best for us if we want a quick recovery. Our lymph system, after all, plays a big part in fighting infections, but it won't send out its germ-fighting troops unless the body is mobile. So walk around when you're under the weather. Keep your body's internal clock on time by exposing it to the daylight. Avoid creating a nighttime setting when the sun is out. See what I'm saying? When the sun is out. Or you'll throw your body's circadian rhythm out of whack and give it another challenge to overcome in addition to the sickness. So you might be faced with an additional challenge on top of the already existing challenge of the sickness, illness, and or disease in your body. When you feel cold coming on, say the beginnings of a scratchy throat like I had while I was up north. Start sucking on zinc lozenges. Never knew that. More specifically, zinc acetate, the form of metal most effective at fighting colds. Zinc, not echinacea or vitamin C, is about the only thing proven to reduce the duration of a cold. Let me stick a pin here, because I could remember during the pandemic, COVID, zinc flew off the shelves in the pharmacies. Persons were buying zinc in different forms. Let them melt in your mouth. They won't be of any use if you chew and swallow them. The zinc needs to be absorbed by your oral blood vessels. Shoot for 75 milligrams a day, roughly 1 lozenge every few hours. And drink warm liquids such as herbal teas or water with honey and lemon. I know a lot about the honey and lemon. And sometimes, even in the absence of the lemon, I would use the lime. In fact, this morning I got up, I warmed, boiled, brought to a boiling point, pipe water, tap water, let it cool for a bit, squeeze some lime juice, and just drop in a tip of salt. And I had that first thing on an empty stomach. I read that it helps to awaken the system after, a night's rest, to start, give the engine a bit of kick of fire, like you would go in your vehicle and warm up your vehicle. It is always a good thing, because your body is just as the engine of a vehicle, or vice versa. The sweetness and acidity can stimulate salivation to clear your throat and sinuses. Warm drinks soothe the mucous membranes in your nose, mouth, and throat, reducing irritation. If you think you're coming down with the flu, call your doctor right away and ask about antiviral remedies that can help you gain the upper hand sooner rather than later. If I use the natural remedies and so that I have around me, in terms of the honey, the lemon, lemongrass, big thyme, Christmas bush, just to name a few, and these are working, I see no reason why I ought to be going by the doctor. But then again, it differs from person to person. Yep. So we're going on to chapter 26. So far I've read at least 4 chapters. Because these chapters, unlike the chapters prior, 21, 22, these chapters are smaller. A naturally sweet Good night, good evening, welcome. Thank you for joining. How are you? Hey, Shauna, welcome, welcome. Hey, Brother Todd, what's up, brother? What's up, what's up? Finishing in a while, man. Finishing a while. Just hold the food. Manage chronic conditions. This is big. You don't want to wait until things get bad. It's so much easier to head off chronic conditions at the pass because many are not reversible. But you can't proactively care for your body unless you undergo the blood tests and screenings appropriate for your age and history. We also have vaccines to help prevent a variety of illnesses, including ones common in later years, such as shingles. If, God forbid, you do end up having to manage something, whether temporarily or for the rest of your life, then don't slack off. Stay on top of it. This is when the severity of your condition probably dictates how well you respect its demands. For example, if you're a type 1 diabetic who relies on daily insulin, just to survive, then you know you have to control your condition to a T. If you're someone with borderline type 2 diabetes whose symptoms are relatively silent, you might not be as careful since you're not in the red zone yet. But the consequences of being so cavalier about any developing condition could be devastating and costly. Hence the reason why he's stressed in manage chronic conditions. Speaks to prevention as well. I should add that just because we have a ton of drugs and therapies now to treat many conditions, that doesn't mean you want to end up having to rely on them just to live. Again, manage chronic conditions and take preventative measures. That is precisely what he's aiming or what he's speaking about. Being drug dependent is often the result of negligence. Folks, let me just hone in on that there again. Being drug dependent is often the result of negligence. Is there anyone on the live there in agreement with that statement? Learn to master the management of your conditions so you help prevent or slow down their progression. In some cases, you may even be able to reverse or eliminate them entirely. Take heart from the fact that the presence of a particular condition alone can be a wonderful reminder to engage in healthy living in every area of your life, including those that have nothing to do with your illness. Folks, I'm going to stop here for tonight. Yeah? I happened to come across this book. I just have to keep speaking about this book because for me, it probably was a chance encounter. I saw the heading, I read it, and it was so in sync with that which I'm trying to achieve, my goal for myself and for you, by way of realizing optimum health and wellness. A short guide to a long life. This book is available. In fact, I purchased 5 of these books on Amazon for under $20, I think. Soft copy, hard copy. If you can, I urge you to lay your hands on a copy, or come October the 31st, my birthday, I'll be offering 5 of these books for 2 trivia questions. You can either answer one or both. It will come to your doorsteps free of charge wherever you are. So the choice is yours. You can either purchase a copy or take a chance at winning a copy on the 31st of October. Folks, this concludes this episode of Let's Talk Health and More, being brought to you simultaneously on both YouTube and TikTok platform. I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I know it's already late for some of you. I know it's already Wednesday in other jurisdictions, maybe evening time. Thank you immensely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the interaction. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the subscription. If there were, I bid each and every one of you a rest-filled one, a productive Wednesday, a safe and also enjoyable one. Please look forward to much more by way of health and wellness and my episodes in the kitchen. I also have some editing to do relative to events that occurred Grenada's National Heroes Day 2025, so kindly look out for that. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And this is where I say goodbye for now. Thank you once again.